Hey there, Libra. Let me clear my throat. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 29th. You have this card that says, co-create with spirit. You also have this koala spirit that says, spirit has a plan. There you go. Definitely a good week to be tapped in spiritually, clearly. So listening to your intuition or, making extra time to listen to your intuition could be very beneficial for you here, Libra, and could lead to a lot more success. Clearly, there's like some sort of plan that your guides want you to follow, or the universe wants you to follow. And so, really, like I said, tapping in and listening could be the thing that you need to do. In your first row, you have, which is your row of your current general energies, you have the Nine of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Swords. The Nine of Wands, I'm pretty sure that one of your recent readings, I said to you that it's almost like you're trying something again. The Nine of Wands is the card that says don't give up. It's the card that is the card of perseverance. So I feel some of you could be doing something again or working on a project that you have worked on before. And it's almost like, I wouldn't really say that you're getting a second chance necessarily. It's just mostly that I feel like you're continuing something, or you're taking it to the next stage, and it's like maybe you have given up on something for like a short period of time, like a project or an idea. And the Nine of Wands is like saying, obviously don't give up, keep going. And for others, it's almost like there's like this breath of life entering into something, because we have the, it's funny that we have the death card here, but, I feel this like breath of life coming in on the Page of Wands, where it's like you're getting excited about something again, or you're finding new reasons to be excited about something that you're working on this week. And I feel that's going to be very important. I've been saying to everyone, we have Neptune on its way back into Pisces. It's retrograde right now in Aries, but in October, it will enter back into Pisces. The thing with Neptune retrograde in Pisces is that it's very hard to do something if you're not really inspired, really enthusiastic about it, really optimistic about it as well. That can be very, very hard. It's definitely one of my concerns over the next 10 years or so. Really until 2033 is kind of like my main concern date. It's not really something to worry about, because I feel there is a very easy solution to this that I will tell you. But I feel a lot of people are going to get to that time, basically 2033, and they're going to be like, oh my god, all I did for the last 10 years was worry about everything, and instead of doing things instead of getting things done. And so, there's this worrying energy about the future and what the future holds. And I'm not saying it's not good to be concerned or to think about these things, but I just think that really the people who focus on doing what they can with what they got are the people that are going to be the most successful. And, that's what I would encourage here. I do get this feeling of fun. He is very optimistic, enthusiastic, all those things, but I do feel it would be a good week for you to do something fun, or do something nice for yourself maybe, so that you can feel optimistic, or something that makes you feel optimistic. Those types of things would be good for you. You have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about seeing things clearly for the first time, and I feel for a lot of you that you could be getting a lot of clarity this week, which is great. Your reading's actually pretty good. The readings this week have been a little bit sketchy, for sure. Some people have had good readings, but for the most part, there have been some challenges and things like that. Yours is pretty clear, which is good. And also, she is facing this way in the reading. So she has her back to the past, and she's just focusing on the future, and she's focusing on what she can do, right? Sorry. Something in my throat here, Libra. And, again, I think a lot of you could be getting a lot of clarity on the future. And also I like that you have the Wheel of Fortune, Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. These are, good things to show up after the Queen of Swords. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Three of Cups. Yeah, definitely one thing that I will say about the time that we're in is we should be careful of people. I've talked about this before. We had Mars go retrograde last year into this year in Leo. We just had Mercury retrograde in Leo. Next year, Jupiter will go retrograde in Leo. It's whenever we have multiple planets going retrograde in basically the same sign, it can definitely call back the original energy. And so Mars retrograde, we do have to be careful of who we associate with, we have to be careful of people who are just trying to cause problems and things like that. Now, the Three Cups is a very good card, but I'm pretty sure you get this card with me a lot. And I'm pretty sure I'm always telling you, Libra, to make sure to pay attention to the concentrated connections, like the really, really good ones, right? And so, like, spending more time with the people who really support you, who really lift you up, that's going to be important moving forward. With the Page of Wands, you have the Magician. Yep, you're not going to attract things from a position of not being excited, like I said. So I feel like following your excitement or following through, doing things that make you feel optimistic, and make you feel love even, right? And we're not talking about a person either. We're talking about the energy of love is the best energy to manifest from. And so I would be paying attention to that with the Magician, because that's probably what will help you the most. And he's literally pointing to the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is about following your heart, right? And so I think that this is encouraging you to kind of make sure that you're doing, you're curating your reality, which I'm a big fan of, making sure that you are, again, we shouldn't be necessarily ignoring problems, but I do feel that even if we're just like 51% more to the positive, that's going to be better than anything else. With the Queen of Swords, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is juggling, spinning plates, having a lot going on. So you might find yourself being very busy. I really don't feel much here. It's kind of funny, Libra. Normally I tell people that they should be, maybe, making sure they're doing the right things, making sure they're not burning themselves out. This card can represent work hard, play hard. I just think it's saying you're busy. That's it. You're being busy. You have a lot going on. Is that a bad thing? No, it doesn't even feel bad to me, right? Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this love card. There you go. It says intimacy, unity, fulfillment, and harmony. You have this imposter card. It says disguise, deception, and manipulation. I would definitely be... There is something about this week. I will say we have Mercury going retrograde again in November, unfortunately. And so, Mercury retrograde, it's not necessarily... known for like bringing out imposters or anything like that. But what I would say is, that we have had Neptune and Saturn go into Aries. The thing about Neptune and Saturn and Aries, especially since Aries is your opposite sign, is it's not really deception. It's more like we are, just buying what someone is selling, whatever it is. We're just believing without verifying what they say. And so you end with the King of Swords, which is a card of the Mentor. It's coming up in the good stuff. But again, I think it's saying, trust but verify, which I've been saying all year for everybody, because, really that's what we have to do during, especially Saturn, but also Neptune in Aries, is we have to, it's like we can trust, but we should also make sure whatever we are learning from other people, whatever they're saying, we should make sure that there's actual evidence that backs it up. I think people forget that Pluto in Aquarius is the evidence as well. Pluto in Aquarius, we should also be looking at the evidence, so I would. Definitely could be love coming in for you as well. You have the Death card, the Queen of Cups, and the Emperor. Death card can, of course, represent a transformation or a change coming in for you. We are in a time of significant change. Everybody gets the Death card nowadays, and, it just doesn't even surprise me anymore. I think we are in a time of just going through changes and transformations. And really, we should be excited about these things. The child here is holding up these flowers up to the Death Rider. The child is the only person on this card that is excited about the change. Children ask a lot of questions. They're, interested by new ideas. And, I do feel in some ways that looking at the world through a child's eyes, or whatever you want to call it, it would be very beneficial right now. You don't have it, but another card that comes up a lot is the Page of Swords, which is the card of curiosity. I think we're in a time of curiosity. We have to learn new things. Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, but Uranus and Gemini wants us to explore new perspectives on whatever the hell we're doing in all areas of our life. So I think exploring new ideas also shows up here. You have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, definitely we are in a heart-based time. We have to follow our heart, what our heart is telling us to do, and all that other stuff. So we should be listening to our heart and kind of like working with the energy of love, which definitely shows up in your reading. That card literally says love on it. That doesn't even have to be a person. That card says unity, fulfillment, harmony. Harmony is Libra's middle name, right? Your middle name is Libra, Harmony, whatever your last name is. So, again, I think making sure that you are creating more of those energies in your life is good. You have the Emperor here. Definitely could be attracting love. We go up here to the King of Swords. I'm not like the biggest fan of the King and Queen of Swords as divine counterparts because they usually represent two people who don't see eye to eye or two people who aren't talking. But the King of Swords is coming up in the good stuff, and this could just be a person that you haven't met yet, or a person that you haven't talked to yet. So that's more the feeling that I get here. We are also in a time where we kind of really, I think everybody has to really boss up right now. If you want to do something or create something or build something, it's like just time to get started. And, that's what I would do with him. With the Death card, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, definitely the biggest challenge we are all facing. We had Pluto go from Capricorn to Aquarius. It's like the death of establishment. I think the hardest part about being alive right now is that we are all maybe holding on a little bit to the past in the sense that we wish things, that we could do things the same. And it's like the universe is trying to push us to do new things at this time. But it's like we've developed these patterns, over the past many years that have served us, have maybe led to a result. Like if you have a career that's making you money, it's like right now you might have a pull away from your career, but you also might be questioning it, right? That's like one way that this can show up in life. And you might be thinking to yourself, like, why would I leave this security? Why would I, take the risk of losing my pension or, whatever the case may be? But, it's like that's like the challenge that we are all facing. And is it a bad challenge? No. It's like the universe wants us to reinvent ourselves. The universe wants us to expand. You have the Magician, which is reinvention. And so it's like the universe is doing this so that we grow, but it also seems scary, and I think that's part of the challenge. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Death card again. So again, big changes coming in for you. It's funny that I said that you might be doing something again with the Nine of Wands. One thing I will say about the Emperor, and he kind of has a connection to death. He has this Ankh right here. The Ankh is a symbol of rebirth, or can be. So again, I think with the Death card twice, the Emperor, it's like you could be rebirthing an old idea. For some of you, I really don't think it is an old idea. Maybe it's just something that you paused in your life. Like if you were working on a project or had an idea, maybe you put it on pause and now you're starting it again. With the Emperor, you have the Eight of Cups. Yeah, everybody's had the Eight of Cups this week. We had that eclipse in Virgo on the 21st. This is the only card in the tarot with an eclipse on it right there. So, again, I think a lot of us are walking away from things. The beautiful thing about this reading is that you have the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups. Some people say that the guy on the Eight of Cups is walking towards the Nine of Cups. The thing is, he doesn't know that. He is taking the risk of walking away from something that provides him with something. Walking away from a career where maybe you're worried about your pension, maybe you're thinking about starting a business, but you're unsure about the future. And it's like he would take that risk because he knows that he shouldn't be settling. And I feel like I've said that to you before, Libra, that your readings really do talk about you choosing to not settle. And, again, I really have nothing else to add because, that's what I feel like you're doing. I feel like you are choosing to not settle for less. Next, we're going to look at messages from your future self. You have this New Moon in Aries. It says it's time to take action. Yes. You have this Don't Let Your Past Hold You Back card, the South Node, which definitely shows up with the Death card, the Eight of Cups. Both those cards basically say, don't let the past hold you back. The past is in the past. Time to move forward. Definitely time for action with the Emperor. The Emperor is an opportunity card. He has his armor on underneath his cloak, so he is ready to go whenever an opportunity presents itself. So definitely time for action. You have the Nine of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Five of Pentacles. The Nine of Cups is a wish or wish fulfillment or just fulfillment in general coming in for you. Again, I like that it comes up after the Eight of Cups because it would kind of say that you really are working towards fulfillment. The Nine of Cups, he chooses to do things that make him feel fulfilled. That's, part of the thing with the Nine of Cups. Like, I like the Nine of Cups, but it just like the Wheel of Fortune, which you have next, I kind of feel like sometimes people make it out to be a better card than it is. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, but, there's definitely an action we have to take with the card. We have to do things that bring us fulfillment, but that not just work, right? We have to do hobbies. We have to have moments where we have fun and we enjoy ourselves. And, that's what I would do here with the Nine of Cups. I would make sure you're doing things that also, that fulfill all areas of your life, including your health, wellness, happiness, joy, peace, everything, right? You have the Wheel of Fortune, another kind of second chance card, kind of. The Wheel of Fortune can represent a change in your fortunes or a turnaround. the Wheel of Fortune kind of said, like, I feel there's an opportunity that's coming back around. But it's like, I really just feel you paused it. So if there's an opportunity that you put on pause, or maybe you took a break from or something, that's more the energy I get for you. It's not really like a second chance, it's more like maybe you didn't have enough information, or, maybe you were lacking a resource to be able to do something, like an idea for your life or something that you wanted to do. And now I feel like it's coming back around, and I would like definitely take a second look if that's happening for you. It's been popping into my head this entire reading. So, definitely something to look at. The other thing about the Wheel of Fortune is we have the snake right here. Snakes represent fears. Snakes are guardians of portals. And usually if there's something we want that we don't have, it's because there's like some sort of fear or blockage getting in the way. And so I think it would be a good week like for you to either face a fear, or, I think the easiest way to overcome a fear is to learn about it, because usually we just fear things we don't know, right? And so I would learn as much as you can about whatever it is you're doing, but I do feel this will change your fortunes if you do it. I also feel that you could be creating more luck. The Nine of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, they kind of represent needing to put yourself in situations where you can get lucky. And here's what I mean by that. Like, obviously, if I were to start a new YouTube channel, for example, and I were to post a bunch of videos there, it would be a position of luck for me, because I already am pretty good at YouTube, right? And so that's what I mean by creating your own luck with this energy, is like there are things that you're probably natural at, or just naturally good at, where if you did more of those things, you would be lucky, because you're already good at it, right? So I'm not saying you're going to be successful overnight, but your chances of success are increased because you're doing what works. And, that's what I would do with this Wheel of Fortune. You have the Five of Pentacles. I think you need to get out of your head. I feel a lot of people feel this way. My concern, again, between now and 2033 is that a lot of people are going to worry about things that they can't control, or just things that aren't going to happen. I also feel that people are going to start having a lot more fears about the future, especially like as AI gains steam and things like that. And the Five of Pentacles says you still have strengths. There's still time. There's still things you can do better. And those are the things that the skills, the whatever that you should be focusing on. And I would make sure that you're, focusing on the good stuff here. I do feel that you are finding, like I said, some sort of resource. If this whole second chance thing makes sense to you, Libra, if you put something on pause that you're thinking about doing again, I actually feel like you are finding the resources to be able to do it that maybe you didn't have in the past. Like, it could just be knowledge or wisdom. You just didn't know how to do something, and now you do. If there is an opportunity that you feel like that with, maybe you don't know right now, but learning about it could help you kind of overcome that challenge. So there you go. With the Nine of Cups, you have the King of Swords right here. Again, twice. So King of Swords is the card of knowledge and wisdom. King of Swords is a great card for learning from other people. King of Swords is the card of the mentor. A King of Swords can also represent a person who can solve your problems very quickly. So, like, if you have a legal issue, find a lawyer. If you have a health issue, go to the doctor. That type of thing. So if you're having any issues, it would be worth it to find an expert. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Four of Swords. Yeah, it's like you're hoping and praying. It's this is giving me hope and a prayer type of energy, is how I feel. But I feel that you could have a much more present position here. It's like, instead of just hoping and praying that a change will happen, like you have the ability to make something happen. I feel the number one thing you could do is learn about a fear. Like I said, if whatever it is that you're fearing is going to get in the way or prevent your future success, just educating yourself, I feel is like the first thing. I think the second thing that you should be doing is luck, right? Like, there are things that you're better at, that you're good at, and like thinking about how you can use your skills would be very beneficial. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, again, more of the future fear. Five of Cups is regret, sadness, but he needs to be grateful for what he has, and then he gets this bridge and this castle. So I always say the fives in the tarot have very easy solutions, right? Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses, double down on your strengths. Five of Cups says, be grateful for what you have. He's sad about losing something that he doesn't even want anymore. That's the thing. The story of the card is that he's lost his taste for wine. So he's sad that something that once brought him joy doesn't bring him joy anymore. But he's like totally ignoring the fact that there's something better. And so I feel like you need to realize that there's probably something better that you could have in your life if you chose to. Next, in the area of the good stuff, can't make this up. You have this card that says endless possibilities, right? And you have this, and then you have this card that says a grand symphony. Yes, I feel that a lot of people get these cards like endless possibilities, things like this. There are many similar cards in all the decks that I use, and so there are probably a lot more. There's a lot more opportunity than you think. And the Grand Symphony card is like you working on your ultimate vision for your life, you creating your great work, your masterpiece in life. And I feel this reading that's what it's encouraging you to do. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles would be your masterpiece, your greatest work that you could do in life, whatever that is, even if you're retired, right? Like I always get comments from people that are retired, and I'm like, yeah, but you still do something. You can still do something. Just because you're retired doesn't mean you can't still, create value or, do something, even if it's small, right? And so, I feel that. You have the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. The King of Swords, again, is knowledge and wisdom, a mentor. Could be you as well. Like you could be coming up in a strong position here of having knowledge and wisdom. Definitely going through changes. He has these butterflies behind him. Butterflies are symbols of transformation. And you have the Magician. Magician is reinvention. I definitely feel we are going to see a very different Libra in the future. And so that makes sense. I also kind of feel, the thing that's probably causing this is going to be Saturn and Neptune in your opposite sign next year. They're both retrograding into Pisces right now. Saturn is in Pisces. Again, Neptune will be in Pisces in October. And then in January and February, they both move back into Aries. So, you're definitely in a deep transformation, transformative time here with these cards. You have the Knight of Swords. Normally, I don't really like the Knight of Swords because he's rushing. He's being too hasty. He's trying to make something happen too quickly, but he is showing up in the good stuff. So, in a lot of ways, this could say that you are making a lot of progress or things are going to be moving forward much faster for you here with the Knight of Swords. You have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. Again, on top of all the stuff that I just said, we have Uranus going into Taurus. Uranus and Taurus would be like the Ten of Pentacles, kind of. Because Uranus and Taurus wants us to create true freedom, and we're getting one last chance here to really create something in our lives that could bring us a lot of freedom. That could be financial freedom, love freedom, health, whatever it is. It's like the big picture. But I really feel that you are kind of working on some sort of masterpiece, something where you can make your mark on the world, or, something that can help others or something like that here, Libra. So I think a lot of you are working on those things. Let's see here. With the King of Swords, you have the King of Wands. You could be attracting a fire sign. Not really a love reading. There's like a little bit of love here. Obviously, you have the love card. But, if you are looking for love, I feel you could be attracting like a fire sign. Could be someone who's older than you with the King of Swords. Could be someone who has a lot of knowledge and wisdom as well. Yep, with the Knight of Swords, you have the Chariot. Really good. That would be charging towards victory, charging towards success. So whatever you're doing here looks like it's working. I do feel like some of you could be thinking about moving as well. I always say sometimes I think we think that if we move, that it's going to change our life in some way, but usually it doesn't. It's like usually things stay the same. But if you're thinking about moving, I literally do feel you will feel the change. It will put you in a different position. And so it just feels like something different. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Swords again, so probably charging towards your Ten of Pentacles. Again, Ten of Pentacles is like you creating everything you want and desire in your life, and so there could be a lot of success coming in for you based off whatever you're working towards. You have this cat, says a two-faced friend. A lot of people this week have had these cards, so I would be, and you have that imposter card. It says disguise, deception, manipulation. If someone doesn't seem right, you're probably right? So trust your gut instinct on people at this time. You have this pin card that says new job and career. Can't make that up, Libra. We basically talked about that this entire time. How you could be building something new or creating something new career-wise, work-wise. You have this wealth card, Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is like building wealth. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like rich overnight, but I definitely feel if you're working on something like a project, an idea, that it could bring wealth into your life, which is great. You have this man card that says dealings or relationships with a man. You have this mountain road card that says you're on the road to success. So yes, definitely could be some success coming in for you here or some growth. You have the star card that says guaranteed success. Again, definitely probably the best reading I've done this week. Again, this week has been a little bit challenging for people. But yours, you have all these cards of success and charging towards success. And, I think the only thing you have to conquer is yourself, right? Your mindset or whatever's going on here at the beginning of the reading with that Nine of Wands. And I also feel like you need to trust that there is a plan, and not worry too much about the future. But all in all, this looks very good, Libra. I like it. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.